potential wasted.
You've got mail.
That's not how winners
You've
think.
got mail.
That's not how warriors
You've got
operate.
mail.
That's not how... It's a death sentence. Like once you mess up, that's it. It's a death sentence. Like once you mess up, that's it. Game over. Dream buried. Potential wasted. But that's not how winners
You've
think.
got mail.
That's not how warriors operate. That's not how legends are made. You see, failure only becomes real when you surrender, when you throw in the towel, when you stop swinging. But if you fall and get back up, that's not failure, that's resilience. If you take a hit and learn from it, that's not a loss, that's wisdom. If you get rejected and return stronger, louder, sharper, that's not defeat, that's transformation. The truth is, there's no such thing as failure for the man who refuses to stay down. Only feedback, only redirection, only the fire that forges you into something unstoppable. Every setback isn't a sign to quit, it's a test, a challenge, a call to rise higher than you were before. Every stumble is teaching you how to walk like a king. Every wrong turn is guiding you to the right path with a stronger spine. Pain is part of the process. Disappointment is part of the climb. You don't learn from winning, you learn from losing. Let's cut through the noise. Everyone loves the win, the medal, the spotlight, the applause. But let me ask you something. What did your last victory really teach you? Did it stretch your limits? Did it expose your weaknesses? Did it humble you? Did it make you question who you are? No. It just felt good. And feeling good doesn't make you stronger. Feeling pain does. Getting knocked down does. Being counted out and then rising from the dirt, that's what sharpens the blade. Because the truth is, you don't grow when you're winning. You grow when you're hurting. It's when you've just failed. When your plans just collapsed. When your body's tired, your mind's doubting, and the world's silent, that's when you're either built or broken. And most men, they break, they hide, they make excuses, they point fingers, they look for soft ground to rest on. But not you. Not if you want to be great. Not if you want to build something bigger than comfort. The men who win long term are the ones who treat losing like a masterclass. They don't avoid it, they study it, they embrace it, they use it. Because every time they fall, they stand up taller. Every time they fail, they return more dangerous. Every L adds fuel to the fire. You want to know what separates the weak from the warriors? It's not talent, it's not luck, it's not intelligence, it's response. What do you do after you lose? That's the moment that defines you. You can lie there in the dirt, cry about it, feel sorry for yourself, or you can rise like a savage, like a man on a mission, like a storm. You think the champions, the titans, the legends of this world made it by walking on smooth roads? Hell no. They walked through hell. They failed thousands of times. They've been mocked, doubted, betrayed, laughed at. And you know what? They kept going. Because they knew something most men don't. A man who's never lost is a man who's never pushed far enough. If you're scared to lose, you'll never take the kind of risks that change your life. You'll stay average. You'll stay safe. You'll stay small. And the world does not reward safe. You want power, you want freedom, you want to walk into a room and own it? Then start by owning your failures, because every time you lose and you don't quit, you become more unstoppable. You grow more focused, more lethal, more dangerous, more unshakable. You learn how to adapt, you learn how to endure, you learn how to grind when everything inside you is screaming to quit. That's where warriors are made. Not on the podium, not in the winner's circle, but in the trenches, where your heart is breaking but your feet keep moving, where you're broke, beat, exhausted, but still sharpening your edge, where nobody's watching, but you're still showing up like your life depends on it, because it does. You're not just chasing some trophy, you're chasing the man you could become, the one inside of you that doesn't settle, the one who refuses to die ordinary. You think strength comes easy? It doesn't. It's earned. with pain, with patience, with losses, with late nights and lonely mornings. It's forged in rejection, in failure, in resistance, in discipline, in getting up again when you swore you had nothing left. So yeah, you're gonna fail, you're gonna fall, you're gonna lose. Good. That's the point. Lose with purpose. Fail forward. Fall like a man with fire in his chest, because you were never meant to be ordinary. You were never meant to blend in. You were never meant to play it safe, sit in the corner and hope for a lucky break. You were meant to rise. You were meant to conquer. You were meant to take the punches and keep moving forward like a soldier chasing destiny. So don't run from your losses. Don't hide from your scars. Don't pray for easy. Pray for strength. Pray for the storm. Because the storm is where you become him. The man who's fallen and risen so many times, he doesn't fear the fall anymore. Because he knows every time he gets up, he's stronger than the man who never fell. And that's the one thing winning can't teach you. Each failure brings you closer. You're frustrated, you're tired. You gave it everything you had, and it still wasn't enough. You did the work, you made the sacrifice, you believed, and somehow it still fell apart. Feels unfair, doesn't it? That's where most people stop. That's where they throw their hands in the air and say, maybe I'm just not cut out for this. But you're not most people. Because what you don't see right now is this. That failure, that mess, that moment of collapse, that is the fire that forges men. Success isn't supposed to come easy. It's not supposed to be smooth, clean, or predictable. It's supposed to break you so you can rebuild yourself stronger, sharper, wiser, unstoppable. They told you that failure is the opposite of success, that if you fail, you're doing it wrong. That's the biggest lie you've ever been sold. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is the pathway. It is the process. It is the price. You're not starting from zero. You're starting from experience, from pain, from fire. Every scar on your journey, that's not damage. That's data. You've seen what doesn't work. You've felt the sting of loss. You've watched things collapse, and you're still standing. You know what that makes you? Dangerous. Because now, you've got an edge. You've been through the storm and survived. And survival breeds something priceless. Grit. The guys who win, they're not smarter. They're not luckier. They just stayed in the fight when others tapped out. That's it. The winners are the ones who could have quit but didn't, because they knew every no brings them closer to a yes. Every door slammed shut just means they're one step closer to the one that opens. Every single failure sharpens the blade. You're not broken, you're building. This is the season where you get toughened, where your hands get rough, where your back gets strong, because this pain isn't punishment, it's preparation. Remember this, there is no education like adversity. And here's the truth most people run from. Every time you take the shot and miss, you get better. Every time you fall flat, you learn where your limits are and how to destroy them. And when you've failed enough, something inside of you changes. You stop chasing permission. You stop waiting for the perfect time. You stop playing soft, and you start becoming a machine. One that keeps showing up, keeps swinging, keeps rising, no matter how many times life knocks you down. This world does not respect comfort. It respects men who get up when it makes no sense to. When you failed 1,000 times and you still show up with that fire in your chest, that's rare, that's power, that's masculinity in its purest form. Let them laugh. Let them say, you're not gonna make it. Because when you rise from the ashes again and again, you become someone they can't predict. Someone they can't understand, someone they can't stop. You become the man they never saw coming. You've come too far to break now, too far to crawl backwards, too far to let failure be your finish line. So don't flinch, don't fold, and don't you dare quit. Because every failure is just a layer peeled off the weak version of you, until what's left is iron, is unshakable, is the man you were born to become. So embrace it, welcome the losses, let them come, let them test you, because every failure brings you closer to your moment, to your victory, to your rise. And when that moment comes, you'll know it was all worth it. So keep going, keep failing, keep growing, because this is far from the end. This question mark, this is how legends are built. Failure builds the monster they can't stop. You think failure means you're not good enough? You think losing is something to be ashamed of? No! Failure is the beginning of becoming someone they can't handle. Every time life humbles you, you evolve. Every time they count you out, you build in silence. Every time you fall flat on your face, you upgrade. Because every setback is shaping your future strength. You've been lied to. They told you winning makes you strong, but that's not the full truth. Winning reveals your power, but losing creates it. You want to be a monster? You want to be unstoppable? Then embrace this. You get stronger through the pain. You become lethal in the losses. You rise like a savage from the ashes of failure. Every failure is your gym. It's your battleground. It's your proving ground. Every rejection, that's your sharpening stone. That's life asking, how bad do you really want it? Every betrayal, every loss, every time you were overlooked, they weren't setbacks. They were setups. Setups to build the man you were always meant to become. You don't build monsters in comfort. You build them in chaos. You build them in storms that destroy the weak. So let them doubt you. Let them say you're finished. Let them think failure broke you. Because while they sleep peacefully, you're in the trenches turning pain into progress. You're training when no one claps. You're bleeding when no one watches. You're coming back from hell with fire in your eyes. This is what separates boys from men. This is what separates the average from the elite. Most people fail and run. Most people lose and blame the world. Most people give up when it gets dark, but not you. You fail and you fuel up. You lose and you learn. You're not scared of pain. You invite it. You smile when it hurts. You grind when it's lonely. You fight when you're drained. Because you're not built like the rest. You're not chasing motivation. You're chasing domination. This world doesn't hand out greatness. It's earned in the shadows. It's earned in moments where everything screams stop, but you don't. They don't see the nights you stay up with nothing but your thoughts and your hunger. They don't feel the pressure of having no one believe in you but still showing up. They don't understand what it means to fight battles you can't explain. That's why they'll never be you. Because you keep going. You refuse to die. And every single time you get back up, you grow more dangerous. You're not just building a resume, you're building a legend. And legends aren't built on comfort, they're built on crushing resistance. Let failure teach you. Let it scar you. Let it forge you into a man who doesn't flinch. You are not here to take part. You're here to take over. And failure is your weapon, not your weakness. You want strength? Go fail. You want greatness? Go lose. You want to be the one they can't stop? Then get comfortable in the fire. Because real monsters aren't born. They're made in the furnace of failure. They're made when the pain hits different. When life tries to break you and you break the limits instead. When you stare at rock bottom and smile. Because you know this is where it begins. There's a version of you buried under fear, rejection, and defeat. And every time you rise again, you dig him out. You build him piece by piece, stronger, smarter, colder, until one day, you don't even recognize who you used to be because the soft is gone, the doubt is gone, the weakness is dead. Let failure build you into the man they can't stop. Let it build the monster. Let it make you invincible. Success isn't for the perfect. It's for the relentless. Let's get something straight right now. Success doesn't care if you're perfect. It doesn't care about your flawless image, your polished plan, or your highlight reel. Success wants blood, sweat, scars, repetition, discipline, ruthless drive. It's not handed to the lucky. It's not gifted to the talented. It's earned by the relentless, the one who keeps showing up even when everything hurts, even when no one believes in them, even when the scoreboard shows 0, even when their own mind whispers it's over. You don't need to have it all together. You just need to have the guts to keep moving forward. Perfection is a fantasy. Relentlessness is reality. You will fall, you will fail, you will embarrass yourself, but none of that matters if you rise one more time than you fall, because that's where the shift happens. That's when the average man becomes a savage. That's when the doubted becomes the dangerous. That's when the loser becomes the legend. Success respects persistence, not polish. You think the ones at the top never failed? Hell no. They failed so many times they lost count, but they didn't flinch. They didn't whine. They didn't post about it online. They got up, tightened their jaw, and said, "Let's go again." That's what separates beasts from boys. Every no you hear is a doorway. Every mistake is a sharpened edge in your arsenal. Every rejection is fuel. Let it burn. Let it rage. Let it mold you into someone unbreakable. They laughed at you? Let them. They doubted you? Good. They walked away? Perfect. Because when it's all said and done, when the dust settles, you'll still be standing. Not because it was easy, but because you refuse to back down. You want to know the real secret? Success is less about how good you are and more about how much you can take and keep going. It's about dragging yourself forward when your legs are screaming. It's about staying in the fight when every voice says quit. It's about showing up on the days you don't feel like it, especially on those days. You know who wins? The one who's willing to bleed for it, the one who stares failure in the face and says, "You'll have to kill me to stop me." Because if you're still showing up, you're still dangerous. If you're still in motion, you're still a threat. If you haven't quit, you're still in the game. And if you're still in the game, you can still win. So don't chase perfection, it's a ghost. Chase progress, chase power, chase pressure. Be the guy who doesn't fold. Be the guy who doesn't whine. Be the guy who doesn't need applause. Be the silent force. Be the one who just keeps coming. Because when the world realizes you don't break, it starts to move out of your way. And here's the cold truth most people will never understand. Failure only exists if you quit. If you keep going, then every loss becomes a lesson. Every mistake becomes momentum. Every bad day becomes fuel for the fire. Let the rest chase shortcuts. Let the rest chase comfort. Let the rest quit when it gets tough. You endure. You evolve. You dominate. You want the crown. Earn it with grit. Earn it with scars. Earn it by walking through hell and coming out with fire in your eyes. Because success is not for the perfect, it's for the relentless. So show them what that word really means. Get up, lock in, burn forward, and never ever back down. If you're still watching, you're not average. You're built different. You're built for this. Failure's not the end. It's part of the process. Step by step, loss by loss. This is how you build yourself. So if this hit home, like the video, subscribe if you're about progress, not perfection. And drop the word invincible in the comments to show you stayed till the end and you don't fold when it gets hard. See you in the next one. Stay moving. Stay sharp.